Hi, everyone, and welcome back to some new episodes of Sisters in Service. For those of you that know me, you know why I do this, because I want to tell those stories of active duty women and women veterans, and to tell their story, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly of what happened to them in service and after service. But these women are also doing some amazing things in their life after service. I also like to highlight these women who are business owners, they're entrepreneurs, they're bosses in their business. So I hope you'll continue to listen and let your friends know and let me know how this lands with you, because it's really important for me that you guys understand what I do, why I do it, and why I continue to do it. So here's the first episode. This episode is being sponsored by Small Space Pilates. Are you ready to get fit and fabulous from the comfort of your own home? Look no further than Small Space Pilates. With live online Pilates and weight training classes, a video library, and a no perfection allowed policy, you can achieve your fitness goals without ever leaving your house. Visit smallspacepilates.com for your complimentary session and start your journey to feeling fabulous today. Welcome everybody to Sisters in Service. My name is Kat Corchado, and welcome again to our latest episode. I have in front of me one of my favorite people. I met her accidentally on purpose. We went to a VWISE event in Tennessee, and I met her, and I just remember her. She just always had this smile on her face, and she was just always so freaking positive. And I was like, I need to be around more people like that. And she is just one of those people that you just say, you know, wow, I want to be around her. And so I invited her to be a part of this podcast, but we're going to be talking about something a little different. She's in business for herself, but it's a business you would never expect. Not saying because she's a woman, but you never know, right? So I have Nadean Carson. She's a professional stormwater nerd. Right? I know, that's what I said. But she lovingly says that she plays in the dirt, and she does it well, obviously, because she started her own company, which is Oya Construction. But she's an Air Force veteran, and we're going to talk about all of this stuff, how she got into this, why she stays in it, because it's a male-dominated field. And for anyone listening that thought they want to play in the dirt too, here's your connection. Nadean, welcome to Sisters in Service.
Thank you so much for having me. And let me just tell you that you are the same type of person that when you are in a room, you radiate energy to others and literally draw people into your orbit. So yes, the feeling is very mutual.
Oh, thank you, Nadean. That's so sweet. I just try to be freaking fabulous, you know.
I mean, yeah, you are. That's all. What?
I know. That's all. So Nadean, welcome again. And so first off, let's talk about, you know, when you went in the military. When did you go in? And did you pick the Air Force, or did the Air Force pick you?
It's kind of a weird story. So I was an ROTC, and I went active duty in 2000 as I graduated college. I was one of those people who always knew what I wanted to do, and I had a very clear path. I knew exactly what I wanted to do until I didn't want to do it anymore. And it was like a completely 180, oh God, I wanted to go in the Air Force and fly planes. Like everybody who watched Top Gun did.
Right.
And I was like, I want to do this. I want to do this. And then halfway through school, I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be a civil engineer and do construction. And I'm talking whiplash of, oh God. And so I was like, hey, Air Force, can I pursue this instead? And of course they're like, heck yeah, let's not have more people fighting over pilot slots. Go be a civil engineer. So I loved my time in service. I loved everything I did, but I will say, hindsight being what it is, if I had it to do all over again, I would have wanted to go in the Navy and be a CD. So that would have been my dream job.
Wow, that would have been a totally different conversation.
Oh, it's
Right.
phenomenal. I got to work with those guys when I was over in the desert, and they were amazing. So yeah, I have girl crush on Seabees.
Well, I do have to tell you that I almost went in the Navy because I saw the Navy dress whites. And I was like, yeah, because I could see myself in the Navy dress whites.
Mhm.
But who wears their dress stuff in the military? You wear it maybe a few times. And I remember the recruiter saying, nope, just stay in your lane. Your dad was Air Force. You go Air Force. I was like, oh, fine. I'll do the whole Air Force thing. But I get it. So how did you go from I want to be a pilot to civil engineering?
Right. So when I was in high school, here's the funny, like, surprising thing. You don't have to study to be a pilot to be classified as a pilot in the military. You just go in and, you could be like an underwater basket weaver most of the time. And they go and they're like, okay, let's train you to be a pilot from the ground up. I went to an aeronautical school, so it was very heavily influenced by all things flying. But when I was in high school, I went, hey, I'm really good at math. I should be an engineer. I know nothing about engineering. I don't know that there's different types. I just said, hey, I'm really good at math and science. Let's be an engineer. I started out in engineering physics because I liked physics. And then I realized I wasn't smart enough for that. So career change. So then I found out about civil engineering and what it was. And I've always been around the construction industry, and I loved it. When I started those classes, it just made sense to me. Studying the, concrete makeup and soil makeups and how things come together and the structures and all of that, it just made sense to me.
So you just geeked out over it. You were just like, yep, this is me. And by the way, you guys, when she says civil engineer, her official title was a geotechnical engineer, right? That's what I said. I was like, what the what? What is
So yes, there's a lot of different aspects of civil engineering. It can be like 1,000 different things. And that's kind of the one things I really liked about it is it gave me opportunity to do so many different things and to kind of choose my own adventure. So I said, hey, let's try this out. I like it.
So you get out. How long did you serve in the Air Force?
I was in for 5 years.
And then you get out, and what happened? Did you feel lost at all? Was your transition fine? How was that for you?
It was really tough. Looking back on it, especially at the time, it was, and I feel like a lot of veterans know this, you deal with it at the time, just like you would. You take the information, you take the facts, and you just press based on what you've got right then. Looking back on it, I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? I was single. I got out of the service. I moved to a town where I knew nobody. I had no support. I had no anything. And basically, I just dropped into the middle of the civilian world and was like, yep, just a civilian now, done. It was not the healthiest of atmospheres for me. I wish I had done some things differently, but I don't regret where it brought me. I didn't know how to make friends. I find that in the military, you've got a built-in group wherever you go. When you PCS somewhere, people come over and they're like, hey, I'm your next door neighbor. Here's whatever,
Or you lose how to connect to people because you connect to other people in uniform. When you see someone else, it's an instant connection. Now, exactly. you may not like that person, but it's a connection, right? And so you don't have to connect or network. And then you get out of the service and you're like, what do I do now? I forgot how to civilian.
Exactly. And I really hadn't had to civilian. I was in college in ROTC and then went straight. So it was very odd to me. And not to mention I was working at a construction company where I was in my late 20s and everybody that worked there was in their mid 40s and white and male and married. And I had nothing in common with any of them. And most of it was very difficult.
Yeah, I was going to say that sounds really, really difficult. So what inspired you to become an entrepreneur in stormwater compliance and start your own company?
It was kind of one of those weird things. Sometimes it's that big things happen in your life and it makes you reevaluate. I lost my mother And it was at that point that I kind of stood back and was like, what's really important to me in my life? And I love working. I love what I do. But I also realized that I was not willing to make concessions on things that I believed in anymore. And I wasn't willing to let somebody else dictate what I was and was not going to do. I've always been very outspoken on anything that I believe in. And I think that there's a lot of inequalities in the construction field. And I was told oftentimes that, no, it's not really like that. And I'm like, how do you not know it? You know, you're a white man who's married to a woman who's, you know, you fit, so you don't see it. And I got very tired of trying to convince other people of this and being gaslit. And so I was like, you know what? It's not just that I want to start doing my own construction thing. Yes, I want to fix the things instead of just telling people that they're broken. I want to go out and actually fix it for them to do it the right way. But I also, my why at the end of the day is that I want to start changing the construction industry. You know, small things like that.
Yeah, little tiny steps. Yeah.
No big deal.
Well, I know that being in construction, period, and working on construction sites, you must be one female in a pool of like a male dominated field. You know what I mean? Like you walk in and do you ever go into a construction site and you're looking for the other women that might be there and you don't find any?
Well, I will tell you, and this thrills me to no end. I'm on a site right now, and when I go to sites, I've got several sites that I work on. So I'll go and I visit once or twice a week. So I'm not there, you know, like all the time, every day. And one of the projects that I'm on, I am thrilled. I was there at lunch one day and they were all starting to break for lunch. And I counted no less than 12 women in different trades, different companies, different everything walking out to lunch. And I think it's the most that I've ever seen on a site at one time. And it just became apparent to me that things are changing and that there are more females in the trades and learning about what they can do in the construction industry. So yes, sometimes there's people like, hey, I knew you from such and such project. The only reason they know me is because I'm the only girl that was there. Whereas I have no idea.
Sometimes it's great being the only one. You know, some people don't like it. But I mean, you're like a trailblazer, basically. I mean, that's what they call people like you when you're like, oh, right. Okay, here's what I'm doing. And then you go out and do it and other women see you and then you start to be known in the industry. So when you have, I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, that you have contracts. So you get signed to contracts to work for construction, correct? Have you ever been denied or think you've been denied a contract simply because you were female?
No. And the reason why is I'm a specialized service. I do stormwater management on construction sites. So it's not like there's 20 people that's offering the same service.
Oh, wait, are you the only one again? You're like, she's the only game in town, folks.
Yeah. You know, there are very few of us that do this. So, and I've taken the time to I don't rest on the fact that I'm a female in the industry. That's just one aspect of it. What I want people to know is that I'm the expert in my industry. I'm the one who has devoted years and years and years to learning everything about this and being fluid in it. So it has nothing to do with a lot of the certifications that I have, you know, small business, veteran-owned business, woman-owned business. Those are awesome. And I love that for government contracts, but that has nothing to do with me working. What really matters is at the end of the day, I'm the expert in this and I am here to protect your site and make you a superstar and, you know, all of these things. So I don't really find that it's ever been that much of a hindrance. And I tell people that the funny thing is when I first go onto sites, superintendents sometimes get like really like formal, like they want to use proper language and they want to, you know. And so I usually at the very beginning will drop a couple of tiny cuss words, you know, just to like, and then when they start cussing back in front of me, I'm like, okay, we're good now.
We're good. We're all set.
Have conversations. Cool. But yeah, it's a little bit of just a little, it's respect, but they also
It's
just need to
reading the
realize,
room. It's kind of
yeah,
when you walk in, you kind of read the room, you feel it out, just like you
yeah.
did right there. So when you started your company, Oya Construction, did you have in mind how many women you wanted working, or did it matter to you how many would be working for Oya?
It very much matters. And it's not just women, it's underrepresented people in the construction industry. So I hate to say that, it has established itself as a certain prototype of a person, but it is. And so there's a lot of people that don't consider the construction industry as a career. And so it's not just women. It is minorities of all types. It is gender nonconforming people. It is any kind of sexual orientation. I don't want anybody to feel like they can't walk onto a construction site, that they're not safe to do that, if they're not, that they don't see this as a job, as a career. There's so many amazing jobs out there. There's super amounts of fun. I mean, who doesn't want to go play in equipment, playing in dirt? But so many people don't consider that that's even an option. So that is what I mean when I want to change the construction industry. I want strong women to come in. I've had the pleasure of hiring and mentoring 2 young women that are phenomenal previously, and they are some of the strongest, most amazing women I've ever met in the industry. But I don't want it to be just women. Right. I want it to be all types of people. So, when I am putting together my advertisements and stuff, I want to say this is the type of people that are encouraged to apply. Not saying that, if you are the stereotype, that I won't hire you.
Right.
But I want you to understand what the purpose of my company is. It's not to propagate the same old, same old.
Yeah. I love that. I so love that. And thank you for doing that, because a lot of places don't do that at all. For our listeners who are listening, tell us a little bit about what is stormwater control. Now, I'm going to take a stab at it. You tell me if I'm right. So is it just having the proper drainage around a construction site so the water doesn't pile up all around the buildings? Is that what it is? No. Am I hot? Am I cold? Am I warm?
Sort of.
You're like, well, no, you're freezing. You're like, you're way off base.
I do several different things. Like during construction, the whole purpose, and I boil it down to this: keep dirt on site, period. So when you go in and you grade up all of the grass and stuff that's there and all that dirt is exposed during a rain event, it starts to run off. The whole purpose is to keep that dirt on site, to not let it flow into our rivers and all of our different waterways. Because if people don't understand this, anything that flows from the streets, the sidewalks, anything, when it goes into those drains, that water is not treated. It goes directly into your lakes and rivers and streams. So on construction sites, that's what I do. I make sure that the engineers have designed a plan on how to keep everything safe. And I go in and I inspect to make sure that it's working correctly, that it's done correctly. But also I fix it. So if things are not installed properly, I make sure that I bring the materials in and I fix it so it's working properly. If there's a hole in the silt fence, which is that fence you see around the construction sites, I make sure I go in and I fix it. And the whole purpose is to keep dirt on site, out of our waterways, and keep everything healthy and safe. So that's during construction. And then post-construction, when all these things have been built, they still have to manage their stormwater. So you don't think about it, but if you see like these big ponds in developments, a lot of times that's a stormwater pond. That's somewhere where they run all the stormwater to, and either it infiltrates into the ground or they have some other use for it. There's a lot of really cool stuff that people are doing in design. But those systems have to be maintained as well. It's not just over and done. So it needs to be inspected yearly. It needs to be maintained. Make sure that cattails aren't growing in it. To make sure that, trash isn't in it or anything's blocking. So I do that aspect of it too. And then a lot of the things that I do on social media and stuff is I try to educate everybody about what stormwater is, how it impacts them, what they can do about it, because not all of us work on job sites. So, as a homeowner, what do you need to look for? What can you do to help, type of thing. So I do a lot of videos and stuff like that just to let everybody know kind of it does impact all of us one way or another.
Now, do you work with like new construction houses and, after they've built all of these beautiful homes, do realtors reach out to you, or is there a connection there, or is it just something a buyer might say, you know what, I'm not really sure about this. Let me call Nadean because I know she knows.
Actually, I do little to no residential.
Got it.
So most homeowners don't have to deal with this. If you have less than an acre of land disturbance, as just a single family construction, this is not a subdivision or anything else like that, but just like bought this place, I'm going to construct here. You don't fall under the same rules. Now, same thing if you're in a neighborhood and there's a lot of those type of buildings, then the subdivision as a whole will likely have stormwater systems, and the HOA probably deals with those. I haven't worked a whole lot with HOAs in residential because it hasn't impacted them as much yet. Right now, enforcement authorities are looking more at commercial. So if you think of any large developments that go up, shopping centers, other things.
Just large buildings. Yeah. Yes. I hear you. For those listening, that question was for me. Okay. I had to ask that question just because it was on my mind. So Nadean, what challenges have you faced as either a female and or a veteran in the construction industry?
I don't know that I was going to say, I don't know that I would classify any of them as a challenge. It's just who I am. There's often been times that it's a bonus for me. When I first started working as a geotech engineer, I was out on a project site, and there was a superintendent who was a jerk. He was not nice, and he was very upset that this young engineer was on his site, and he was basically showing his butt. And he made a comment to somebody beside of him, like, I think that these young engineers should have to, actually go and work in the field before they come out. And I kind of looked at him and I was like, yeah, that's totally true. Because, at my last job, I was getting shot at while I was doing this. So working here with you guys, that's pretty easy. I'll take that any day because, well, you don't scare me like they do. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I just got back from a war zone, literally within the last year. Like, you do not scare me. And it was at that moment, he all of a sudden was like, okay, she's okay.
Oh, you're cool. Okay.
Yeah. Which was unfortunate.
Leave her alone. Leave her alone. She's good.
I was the exact same person before and after that story. Mm-hmm. It did give me a little bit of credibility, but also at the same time, I was like, really? I don't think that it has ever been a hindrance either way. It is who I am. I am an outspoken person. Is it because I know, right? It's shocking.
I know.
Is that because I'm a female in a construction industry? Maybe. Is it just because that's who I was raised to be? Maybe.
It might be a combination, maybe. Especially that, and with everything, you go through in life on top of the fact that you're a veteran. So I think it's a combination that makes you, and then you get to a certain age where you just don't give a damn anymore.
Right?
Like, look,
I love
this is the way it is.
I have zero blanks to give on so many things. I'm like, no, I'm not giving you effort. I'm not giving you my time. I'm not giving you my attention. Bye.
Yeah. So, it's not even worth it. I hear you on that one. So how do you balance the demands of running a successful business with your wellness, your mindfulness? What do you do when the job site or the job just kind of, if it does, maybe it doesn't, when you just have one of those days and you just kind of go, okay, I need to blank. What's fill in the blank for us?
And it's often not reaching a point in the day. For me, I need to be consistent with things in my life. And I was joking with you beforehand that I am not qualified to be on here because I so badly need somebody to constantly be like, you need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of yourself. You need to take care of yourself. And there are things that I know work so great for me. Like if I do my meditation app every morning, my brain centers itself and I'm good. And I shut those noises out, all those little voices I shut them out and I'm good. Do I do that every morning? No. I start checking email, which is the worst thing in the world you could do. But I've had to adjust. So I used to be the person who would go to the gym at 4:30 in the morning, do CrossFit, like loved it. I was always sweaty and gross. And afterwards, and I was, doing this, love lifting weights, love doing all of those things. And then it got to the point where I couldn't. My knee was injured very badly, and I could not do anything. And it really messed with me. I was very lucky in that my VA here has the most amazing physical therapy department. And when I thought there was nothing more that could be done, I had somebody step in and showed me a new technique that took the inflammation out of my knee and has really allowed me to walk without pain for the first time in a couple of years. So that's been amazing. But at that point, I can't go back to doing back squats. My knee is not going to ever do that again. Right. So I had to adjust. What is it that I can do that will exercise the muscles that I need and give me some sort of outlet? And recently it's been Pilates, as we've talked about. It's something where I can very specifically work on the muscles, but without high impact, without hurting my joints. So having that as a standing appointment in my week, that is something I do. It is something I go to. There are days that I can't. I'm out on job sites all day. I can't do it. But to me, that is something that has helped me feel better about myself. But the most important thing is that I have the most amazing partner in my life who sees things before I do. And when I start getting very stressed out and spinning, she sits me down and says, it's time for you to go see your therapist. And why don't you take the weekend and go do something you want to do? I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky to have somebody in my life that does that. This is also part of PTSD. When things start affecting me in ways, sometimes I don't see it, but she will. And she knows this. We've been together for a long time. And so she'll see when I'm starting to react to things as PTSD. And so she knows how to address me and get me out of the situation and then talk to me about what I need to do to start getting myself into a better spot. Not everybody has that. So, I'm super lucky in that.
Well, I'm so proud of you for, doing Pilates, finding something to substitute for CrossFit, because we think, we do all these and nothing wrong with CrossFit, you guys, just saying. And if you can do it, fine. But you get to a certain time in your life where it's not that you can't do it. And maybe you can't, Nadean, because of your knee, but you just don't want to. You want to find something that works better for your body. And so I love the fact you do Pilates, and that you found something that speaks to your body in such a way, and that you have this fantastic partner that sees you before you see you, because we're always the last ones. My husband will say, okay, you've been cranky for 2 days. And I'm like, no, I haven't. He goes, yes, you have. And I'm like, I know. How dare you?
I have not. Stop it.
And so, we've been together for 29 years. So I I trust him when he says that. I think, okay, what's going on? And so it makes me, step back and kind of think about that. So one last question, Nadine, what advice would you give to other women interested in pursuing a career in entrepreneurship, and I can't even speak, in entrepreneurship or the construction company industry?
Those are two totally different things. You can't give me like an either or in this, because that's, okay, really,
wait, do we need a whole nother segment just on that?
Or oranges.
Okay, let's do this. Let's break it down into pursuing a career in the construction industry. How about that?
Learn more, ask questions, go see people, start following my stuff on any of the social medias and ask me questions, because I want everybody to learn about the different options that are out there. Ask questions. That's really it. Ask questions. Go learn more. See if you can go and meet with somebody in the industry and ask them what they do. And
shadow them. Is that a possibility? Shadow them and see, because a lot of people say, "Oh, I would love to do this." When you
come see it,
and it sounds, like, "Well, I want to be an entrepreneur," and it looks so glamorous, and then you get into it and you go, "What is this crap?" No one talked about this part.
Yes.
And so ask question is huge. I have a business coach that says, "Ask questions until you're clear."
Yeah.
And that's been huge for me, because then I feel like, okay, what about this? And how come this? And can I do this? And what about that? And
sometimes people don't know what questions to ask.
That's true. That's
awesome. Like, I love it when people are like, "I think I like what you do." And I'm like, "Okay, come to the site with me. Wear boots. I'll get you a hard hat. Let's go." I'll take them and I'll show them, and I'll show them a set of plans, and I'll show them what we do. And I just want to passionately show people all this cool stuff that I do, because it's phenomenal. Literally getting paid to play in dirt as you grow up. But sometimes people don't know what to ask. Maybe they don't know what the options are. So go and ask somebody in a trade. Ask somebody that you could honestly go onto the Google and find somebody somewhere that's going to tell you something. It doesn't have to be a woman in the construction industry. Anybody. Go and ask. Think about it as an option. Okay. Entrepreneurship. Girl. It has been the craziest ride I've ever had, and one that I would go on every single time from now on. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I jumped in with both feet. I am super lucky. The fact that I was a veteran, that I had a lot of resources that were provided for me that most other people don't. I've realized that you don't do anything alone. I still have so many women that I met at VWISE that I will just text and be like, "Y'all, this is hard." I got to go to EBV in Texas A&M, and I stay up with those people. Local organizations, just get involved, get others involved. I'm a believer of have a mentor and be a mentor at every aspect of your life and every stage of your development. And that helps me. I this year was a mentor in a entrepreneur course, and I laughed and I was like, "What makes me think that I'm qualified to do this?" Like, "Ooh, I've been a business owner for like 1.5 years." But I've had all these really amazing opportunities, and I've gotten to talk with so many phenomenal people that I want to take that and I want to share it with someone else. And I also want to be their cheerleader, because it is hard.
You have to have somebody in your corner cheering you on. You can't be an entrepreneur and be by yourself. You can, but it's going to get hard, and there's nobody to turn to or to ask questions. And I always wanted a tribe of women, or a group of women who were where I wanted to be.
Yes.
I'm here and they're up here, and then I can ask them all of those questions. And sometimes we learn together about certain things. So please don't think that being an entrepreneur is A, easy, and B, it's not for the faint of heart, but B, have a tribe, have somebody who's in your corner, have a cheerleader, whether it's a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a husband, a wife, your children, your coworker, somebody that when you want to quit, they're the ones that are like, yep, come on. You said you wanted this. Let's do this. You got this.
And my thing is, remind me of my why.
Yes.
Tell me why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this to make money. Oh God, you're not doing this to make money. So why is it that you're doing this? Why do you wake up in the middle of the night and have to go and sit on the couch and type things that are in your head? Why are you stressed about paychecks and making sure that you can pay your people? Why are you stressed about this and that? And you have to remember why you do it. And
why you started in the first place and why you continue. And I tell people to write your why on paper and plaster it everywhere, on your refrigerator, in the bathroom, on the mirror, on the visor of your vehicle, put it on your phone. So you kind of come across it and go, oh yeah, that's why I continue to do this. Okay. Got it. So
and let that guide you in your decisions.
Yes.
I have amazing people that I get the opportunity to work with. And there's a company here in town that I love their culture. I love working with them. They're my people. Like, I just go and hang out with them. They're phenomenal. And at Christmas last year, they invited me to be a part of their Christmas celebration, which I was like, cool. I didn't even think about not doing that since, I don't really have a whole lot of people with me right now. And they remarked, hey, why don't you just come work with us? And, we'll pay you really well and you get to have this all the time. And I left that day questioning. Like, for real, like, why don't I go and work over there? Like, they've got a great culture. They pay me well. I wouldn't have to worry about this. I had a whole conversation with myself out loud in the vehicle on the way home.
Oh, me too. You do that too inside your car.
Woo! I'm like, I'm so glad that people now have speakerphones, because now it just looks like I'm talking to my stereo. When in fact, I'm having like a full conversation with myself. And I was like, why don't I do that? It would be so much easier. I would just be able to go do my job, and and I love what they do, and I know what they do, and I'm having this whole thing, and I'm like, why? You know exactly why. And it's because you want to offer up opportunities to people who don't see it. You have to remember the why of why you're doing this.
Yes. That's huge.
And so, there's a lot of days where it is hard. There are days that I literally do not want to get out of bed, not just because I'm sleepy, but because it is hard.
I think it's important too that when you have those days, when it's just, like you said, you didn't want to get out of bed, just stand still. Don't quit. Don't do anything. Just breathe, stand still. Don't make any major decisions. Just give yourself some time to just breathe, because it's, all the things, you guys know what entrepreneurship is. It's all the stuff. People say, oh, what about your team? I go, oh, you mean me, myself, and I? Yeah, that's my team. My team will get right on it. But you have to just realize what you're doing, why you're doing it. Take baby steps sometimes. Maybe it's just standing still and to move the needle forward in your business. So Nadean, it's been such a pleasure having you on.
Reaching out to other people and asking them for help.
Yes.
That's the other thing.
Oh, you've got, yes.
Woo!
That's huge.
Like, I know that it's bad when I want to curl into my own ball and not talk to people. Obviously I like talking a lot. So when I know that things are really rough and I want to curl into my ball and I want to not talk, that's the exact time where I just send a text out to a few people that they're my best friends. And I say, it's hard right now. I don't have to say anything else. I just got a really stupid card in the mail from one of them. It made me laugh for about 15 minutes straight. Because she's just saying, hey, I love you. You got this. What can I do? You want to call and vent? Let's go. I will talk about all those stupid people. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm on your side.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's just reaching out to others and letting them know where my mental state is at the time and that I need help.
So you're not alone. Do you hear that, y'all? If you're whoever's listening and you're an entrepreneur, you're thinking about being an entrepreneur, don't do it alone. And, reach out for help.
If you ask.
Ask questions. You have to ask questions in order to learn. It's going to be messy. That's what my My mastermind coach says, she goes, messy's beautiful. Do it messy and it will get better the longer you do it. Yes, ma'am.
I work in mud and dirt. I am messy and I love it.
Oh, Nadean, it's been such a pleasure having you on today. If anyone's listening and they know of, someone that needs your type of service, where can they reach you?
I will tell you, I post every week on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook under Oya Construction, of some sort of semblance of that. I post videos every single week about something stormwater related. Sometimes you get to see my ugly mug on there. A lot of times you just get to see ugly stormwater. If you're lucky, you get to see my adorable dog. So she goes out with me sometimes too. Her name is Storm, and believe it or not, it's not because of what I do. She's named after a superhero. I did not have a choice in that. I was like, you do realize what I do for a living, right, honey? Really? You want to name our dog Storm? Okay,
that's
sure.
Cute. I do like that.
Yeah, that's great. That doesn't seem weird at all. But yeah, so go to LinkedIn. I'm always on LinkedIn, Oya Construction or Nadean Carson, but also my website, www.oyaconstruction.com. I try to update stuff. I want everybody to understand more about stormwater and the opportunities that are out there. And I just want to reach out to people. I like talking.
Right? Right? That's why people's like, why are you podcasting? I'm like, are you kidding me? I love talking to people. This is perfect for me.
Jam.
Oh, man. Nadean, thank you. It's a pleasure having you on and speaking about something that I don't get to talk about a lot, that I wanted to know more about, because I think, you never know who you're going to come across, and somebody say, you know what? I need somebody to be like, really? I have exactly the person for you.
Well, and it's really funny because I have a friend, God love him. He's a veterinarian, and he gave me his phone number, which is the stupidest thing you could ever do, because regularly I'm like, hey, Jonathan, my dog is doing, I hate it. I'm like, I'm sorry. You're the one who gave me the number. It's your fault. He's a really very dear friend of mine. But I was like, the thing is that if you're a vet or you're a nurse or you're something, people always have a question for you. Like, oh, I hate to ask you, but, and then they do. I'm like,
I don't mean to take up all your time, but.
Jonathan called me one day and he's like, hey, I have a stormwater problem. I was like, yes, thank God.
See?
I was so excited. And he was like, I really hate to ask you. I'm like, do you realize how many texts and phone calls you get in the evenings and weekends and everything else? Like, yes, let's go.
I hear you.
So it makes me happy.
Well, I hope everyone listening learned a little something about Nadean, but specifically about stormwater and, what it is and what it entails. And if you enjoy playing in the dirt,
woo!
Contact Nadean. She'll be happy to show you how to, do all of that stuff. And so, as always, please stay safe, take care of each other. Until next time. And remember, it's never too late to start your impossible.